Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, or as we like to say here at Shady Acres Woodshop, howdy. Today we have a piece of maple of some kind or another. This comes to us from our friend Dave at Calmwood Creations. I'm trying to decide just how to use it. We'll talk about that. Those that have followed my channel for a while know that Dave sends me some of the most challenging pieces I ever have to turn, and this is right up there with a lot of them. But those pieces generally turn out to be the most beautiful as well. First of all, I thought, okay, I'm going to turn it this way because I really love this. I just love this area right here. And I thought, okay, I'll make a vase, and this will be the center top. This will be the bottom. And then I laid it down this way and started looking at it. And I thought, well, this way I can make more of a conventional bowl if I start here. If this is the bowl bottom. And this will be a pedestal like down here. And just don't touch this part at all. And just come around here with the bowl going up like this. From about a third of the way up. And then the rest of the way up, make a bowl. And then I thought, well, then I'm going to have flat sides on my bowl. Here, here, here. And I won't really be able to cut away down here if the intention is to leave this. You follow all that? I know it's confusing to me too. So now that I thought of that, now I'm really confused. So I think I might go back to this. I don't know. You know what? I just haven't decided yet. I'll be right back. Well, I decided on the bowl orientation. I hope that doesn't disappoint too many folks. We're going to be turning at 560 RPM, 5/8 inch bowl gouge, mask and face shield on. I'm going to go ahead and mark out for the tenon now. It'll just help me imagine what I'm doing a little better maybe. Then I'm going to start cutting that tenon in. And this is where I want my foot to be, right about here. Okay, that's just what I had in mind. So I think we can leave that and go over here and start working on the side profile. That'll be fun. Now I've made a mark on my tool rest over here. I'm pretty sure you cannot see it, but it's right here. And what that does is it starts me cutting here at this point, which puts me about where I want to be, leaving this and start rounding the bowl up at that point. Still turning at 560, still a 5/8 inch bowl gouge, still mask and face shield on. This might just be a harebrained idea, I don't know. Maybe I actually want to take these corners off now that I see. This is still well protected. I do want to leave this, but I can take these corners off way before I get to that. So I can check by putting my finger here. Now see, we're just about to touch this. So we're going to have some square corners and some rounded corners, and it's just going to be a mess, isn't it? something. I don't know what, but it'll look like something. I know you guys think I'm crazy. I'm right there with you. Don't tune out now. No, you'll miss it. It's gonna be good. Oh man. Well, see, now I intended to hit this sooner or later. We haven't even hit it yet. I've been protecting this part so much that I've got some more I can go. Well, actually, it's looking pretty cool, don't you think? You're starting to get the picture? Now, when we hollow out the top side, this is all going to be an opening in the bowl, most likely, from here to here. That's okay. We knew that. It's not meant to hold your Cheerios. It's not meant for that at all. It's just an art piece. Don't get carried away, Phil, thinking you're hot stuff here. Careful, buddy. Looking good. I'd love to connect these two grooves right through there, but it's pretty deep here. Maybe I'll switch to a 1/2-inch gouge, see if that'll let me get in there a little further. The problem is there's so much slamming and banging on the gouge that it might not be a strong enough shaft, but I'll try it. Oh, gosh, we're close, so close. I could use a different tool to get in there. I've been trying to avoid it, but I could use this little guy. It's actually a hollowing tool, but that'll let me get straight on in there. Yeah, I don't think it's cheating. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna regret it, but I'm gonna do it. I actually could use another tool, this one. And I think I will. That's actually just about done, but I think I will use this because what I don't like is this is getting to be too big, too big, too wide. Well, I hope I don't regret this. Oh, this is going to be fun to sand. Dang, I hate when I forget that part. Well, I need to clean this mess up. What a mess. So I am going to end up touching this just a little bit, not much. That's okay. Careful, careful. pretty good. Not perfect, but it's pretty good. Hey, I'm liking this. What do you think? Come on. We're not done. Wait till you see this all sanded up and finished. Oh my God, you're just gonna... Don't have a heart attack on me. I know, it's a weird angle. You'll get over it. Just relax. I'm gonna get back to turning. What speed are we at here? I forgot. 650. That's about the best I can do. I think I'll go back to the bowl gouge to work on this upper part. Mask and face shield on. Well, I did move my tool rest. Give me a little more support up here. So I kind of think we're about done. Time for sanding. Well, sanding this is going to be a pain, just as I thought. Just a super pain. It's going to take a long, long time. But the piece is going to be so worth it that I'm willing to put that time in. So I'm going to start with my Sandoflex. I'm going to sand all the bark inclusions, this area here, anything that's unturned. I'll sand the bark as far as I can reach on the top side, which is not very far. Then I'll switch to my 2-inch disc, starting at 80 grit. On these flat spots, I will sand them smooth, but I won't sand out the saw marks. I like the saw marks. They add some texture, they add some history to the piece. I'll sand those like this, maybe with my Sandoflex actually. The Sandoflex is 180 grit. I don't know if I mentioned that. This is 80 grit, and I'll work up through 400, and I'll show you how that's all going to work. Then I'm going to have to do some hand sanding too. I'll show you that as soon as I get my mask on. So that part's pretty easy. Then with the lathe spinning in reverse at about 350. So it's just going to take me quite a little bit of time, and I'll bring you back and we'll put some, I think, sanding sealer, and then we'll go with shellac on this piece. See you in a bit. Before I get started on putting on sanding sealer, I wanted to show you this little trick I came up with. You can see it's Velcro here, and of course these are Velcro sanding discs, and I have this little wedge that I cut off of something else, I don't know. Anyway, that turned out to be invaluable to get in between here. And this part here wraps right into the cove that separates these two pieces. What a wonderful little thing that was. I don't know how else to put it. I don't know. I couldn't get my fingers all the way in there. Plus I kept getting hit by these corners. And this part here, nasty. So this just saved my life. It still was a real pain in the you-know-what to sand. It did the trick. Now I'm going to have to do some brushing, but first I want to get a base coat of this sanding sealer on here. And again, I told you about these flat spots that have saw marks and whatnot. And they're nice and smooth now. They feel good, but the saw marks remain. And that just adds a nice texture, plus shows off the history of the piece. And I was so excited for this piece, I got up early today and, well, I didn't get up early, I got out here early. I don't get up early, I'm retired. But I got out here and got started sanding. And it's a good thing I did if we want to get this done today, because it took a few hours. But this is going to be a phenomenal piece, I think. And whenever I use the brush, I like to come behind it real quickly with the rag with more sanding sealer on it to wipe away any brush marks or runs or whatever there might be. You got to get to them quick before they dry because they're hard to get rid of. Well, you know, I'm just going to surprise you. I'm not going to let you see much more of this. I'm just going to go ahead about my business and get this all applied. You get the idea what I'm doing. Brushing a rag, brushing a rag. So I'll get a couple of coats of this on here and a couple of coats of shellac, and then I'll bring you back and we'll work on the inside. And I'm so excited for that. See you in a while. The outside's looking good. Let's start on the inside. I want to preserve some of this. I can't preserve all of it because it would be a really small bowl. You can see we're right there at the edge already. But I like the way this pours into the base. So I want to preserve at least half of it, I guess. I don't want these to be too thick like they are now. So we're going to have to go down here half the way or so. I'm going to be using a 1/2 inch standard grind bowl gouge. We're going to be turning at 620 RPM, mask and face shield on. Yeah, we're about 3/4 of an inch right now. Well, of course, I can't really measure the very, very bottom. I can only measure to this point here. So we can go a little more. I'll try and thin down the side walls a little bit below the rim. The problem with that is I'm gonna lose too much of this. That's as far as I can go right there. That's about half what I had. So we're probably about done. It's about 3/8 of an inch thick right there. That's as far in as I can go. Yeah, I guess that's about it. We'll scrape with my negative rake scraper. I need to get up a little bit higher, I think. We're done. Time for sanding. Let's see if we can get this sanded before the wind blows the power out. This is just wicked sharp right here. Wicked sharp. So I'm going to use my Sandoflex to sand that from the inside out only. I don't want to come from the outside in and ruin my nice finish out here. So from the inside out, I'll sand all the bark and, well, I'll sand the whole top edge. And then with the lathe spinning forward at about 400 RPM, I'm going to start at 80 grit. I'll work up through 400 grit, and I'll show you what that looks like as soon as I get my mask on. For a week, it's been shorts and t-shirt. Today, it's jeans and 2 shirts. I don't know. It's just life in the Pacific Northwest, I guess. Oh yeah, much better, much better. I'll do a little bit more of that, but that's what it looks like. And that looks pretty easy, but it does take a light touch so that you don't push into this gap here and then have it come around and smack you. And you have to work with just the top edge. Just like that. If you get it down here too far, it's going to come around and catch it real good. So a light touch, easy peasy. I'll be back here in a bit and we'll put some sanding sealer on there. Gonna look good. See you in a bit. Well, the power's still on, so let's see what we can get done here. Oh, it's gonna be beautiful. I've got a little piece of loose bark right here, see that? So I'm going to put CA on that after I get a coat of this on and after it dries. And that'll keep the CA from soaking into the wood around it. And then I've got some sanding sealer in this can and my brush. And I'll just brush all of the bark and bark inclusions. And that bark is going to make such a nice contrast against the beautiful grain. But I have to be careful not to go over this top edge onto my shellac finish on the outside. Well, this will take a little bit of time, so I won't keep you. I'll bring you back here in a little bit and we will take the tenon off. See you in a bit. I've mounted a block of wood up in my chuck. I'm going to place the bowl over that. Bring up the tailstock. I still have my center hole there for reference, so that'll help us get it centered on that block. Apply a little pressure. Bring up the tool rest. Now we do have this big bark inclusion in here, and it's kind of a nasty one. So I very well may not be able to finish this on the lathe, but I'll try. I'm going to use a 3/8 inch standard grind bowl gouge and commence to removing that tenon. Well, we better see if it's centered first, huh? Just hold my thumbnail against the edge. It's not perfect, but it's okay. Here we go. Lathe is spinning about 500 RPM. Boy, that's such a problem. It looks like there's wood under that bark inclusion. You can kind of see it down in there. I'm not sure it's enough. Let me maybe apply a little more pressure. I really like this piece. I think it's one of my best and I don't want to ruin it. Well, that's small enough for now. I want to get a little bit closer and higher with my tool rest so that I don't get under that little nub and pop it out of there. So now I'm going to switch to a 3/8 inch swept-back bowl gouge so that I can get closer. Now I'm going to turn the speed down to about 300 RPM. Not a good idea, Phil. Yeah, that's as far as I'm gonna go. Sorry, Tuffy. Tuffy likes to see him finish to the end, but I'm just not gonna risk it. So I'm just going to take this over here to the workbench and knock that off of there with a chisel, sand it, get it signed and finished, and I'll be right back. Be sure you stick around to the end of the video so you can see the before and after shots of this piece. If you'd share it, that would be terrific. I'd really appreciate it. Well, here it is, one maple burl pedestal bowl in the books. I just love it. I hope you do. I think it's some of my best work. Looks good no matter which way you look at it. I really like that part there, of course. This is what I wanted to save. And now it just looks like this pours off into it. Which it does, because that's the way it always was from the beginning. And we have this flat side here, matches up with this flat side here. You got the saw marks on there. I just really like it. I just think it's darling. I think it's darling. There's the bottom all finished up. Looks as good as the top does. Those bark inclusions in there. Wonderful grain. It's just a nice piece. Thank you, Dave from Calmwood Creations, for sending this along for all to enjoy. If you like this video, thumbs up please. I'd sure appreciate it. If you're a subscriber, that is totally cool. Thank you so much for that. If you're not a subscriber, you might consider becoming one. I put out regular videos about one a week, and I'd like to keep in touch. An easy way to subscribe is just click my picture you see there near the end of the video. Your comments are always welcome, and I read all of them. So for now, this is Phil, Shady Acres Woodshop, signing off.